live. I didn't realize I was live. Hello. Thank you for joining me on today's Fertility Q&A Wednesday. And I have had a lovely request on fertility foods and fertility supplements. And I really just wanted to let you guys know that, oh, hello Renee, I'll give you a wave. Thanks for joining. I wanted you to know that there's a lot of variety out there, a lot of different opinions, people with different agendas. And I know that in this group, we've got people who are doing natural fertility. We've also got people who are doing the IVF route or assisted fertility. It could even be IUI. So the reason why I brought that up is because IVF clinics, and I just want to start there. IVF clinics don't always give the best nutritional advice. Okay, I've worked with a lot of clinics, I'm associated with a lot of clinics, and I hear what a lot of clinics say. And one of the things in the UK that they get women to do is to drink a litre of cow's milk a day. And in all the research I have done, that's not helping with fertility. And to be perfectly brutally honest with you, IVF clinics aren't there to make you succeed first time round. That is why their success rates are quite low. It is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and that's why they're now selling packages of rounds of 5. And the percentage chance that you get pregnant is, 1 in 25%. So, and then of course it gets less as you get older. Yeah, gross, cow's milk would make me sick. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, drinking cow's milk and having the standard diet that we have now that we think is normal with, lots and lots of cereals, processed cereals, that's not normal. That's not how cultures from around the world have gotten by. That's very Western, and we are aware that the standard Western diet, or the standard American diet, SAD, or standard Australian diet, however you want to look at it, the Western diet is contributing to so many health factors, and one of them is fertility issues, okay? When you look at other cultures, breakfast isn't different to lunch and dinner. It's not a sugar-laden, dairy-laden, processed breakfast cereal. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because some people say, I only have milk with breakfast, and that should be okay, right? It's good for my calcium. And that's where myth number 1 comes in. Your calcium is actually leached from your body when you drink cow's milk. Cow's milk is liquid protein. Cow's milk is designed to fatten the calves. So when you have that, yes, it's going to increase your fat reserves. Secondly, we're breeding the wrong type of cows, and we're milking them with lots and lots of hormones and antibiotics. So you're then consuming that yourself, and that's going to put your immune system out. Renee says, plus I thought it makes it harder to absorb nutrition. Yes, it makes it harder to absorb nutrition because it creates a layer of mucus in the gut. So it's difficult to absorb nutrition from the food that we're eating. And also, because it's liquid protein, the body cannot absorb protein and calcium at the same time. So because it's liquid protein, it's actually drawing the protein in and leaching out the calcium. It's not the best form of calcium. Best form of calcium is nature's own whole food, and it's any green leafy vegetables, particularly the broccoli. Broccoli is a fantastic fertility food. Broccoli and spinach are your best greens, as well as avocados for women for fertility. An avocado, it takes 9 months to grow, and it's the shape of the womb. It's a beautiful fertility food. Hey, Candace, thanks for watching. I'll give you a wave. And also for women, a good fertility food is berries. Raspberries are the best for fertility. But all the foods that I mentioned, okay, it's got to be organic. And this is a huge thing for fertility, huge, because if you're not having organic, it means that the food is covered in herbicides, fungicides, pesticides. And these actually are linked to causing fertility issues, massive fertility issues in a lot of the lab rats that they expose these poor rats to. It's all over Google. Please have a look. You don't have to take anything I say today on face value from me. You can look it up yourself. This is all based on extensive research that I've been doing, because I've been a fertility specialist and expert and healer and activator since 2007. So, and also nutrition's always been a huge passion of mine, and I started as a medical Japanese translator, mainly focusing on nutrition and brain health. So this is something I'm really passionate about. And by women following the dietary advice that I offer, it gets them results. And all of my clients, of which the majority are at the age of 43 and up, they've all had happy, healthy babies. Not one birth defect, not one degenerative illness or anything like that. So sticking to a good diet is actually going to change the environment of your cells. Now, it's going to take 9 months, whatever dietary advice you follow, 9 months for you to fix your follicles. So if you want to improve your follicle health, what you're doing in the last 9 months up to date, or up to today, is what's going to count. That's what's going to be your baby's genetic structure. So nutrition is one huge aspect for a healthy baby and for holding your pregnancy through to full term. But there are other aspects as well, which you've got to do at the same time. You've got to work on the mindset. You've got to work on managing your stress. You've got to work on improving your sleep patterns. You've got to work on moving your body to get the right kind of oxygen and nutrition to the whole of the sacral band. There's also genetic things that you need to clear from the bloodline that needs to be transmuted before it's passed on to the next generation. So there's a lot of stuff going on a spiritual level, an energetic level, nutritional level, movement level, a whole bunch of levels. So today we've had a question about nutrition for today's Q&A, so I want to stick to that, but just giving you an overview. It doesn't matter how healthy you are, if you don't have the other things in play, particularly the right mindset, it just creates toxicity in the body. It creates an acid environment, and that acid environment can be destroying the sperm before it even reaches your egg, which is something you could consider if you're looking at the natural route. And then if it's too acidic and the body's not elasticized enough, the uterine lining won't hold the pregnancy through to full term either. So these are some other things to consider, but I can talk about this on another live. Okay, so other nutritional points. Other things to mention for men. Bananas are fantastic. Okay, they help with erections. And zinc. Zinc is an important thing for men. A really good form of zinc is your pumpkin seeds. Now, I'd like you to get the right amount of selenium for men and women. That's 3 Brazil nuts a day. That's very helpful. Now, I don't know whether you are used to tahini. Excuse my pronunciation, everyone from the Middle East. It's something like tahini. I can't say it. But anyway, it's ground sesame seeds. And these are the perfect balance of potassium as well as calcium and magnesium. Now, you need the magnesium to absorb calcium in the body. And the potassium helps you absorb what you're consuming if you have medicinal mushrooms or the superfood mushrooms. So superfood blends, which are a huge rage today, and I even sell them in my Powerfully Pure shop. Yes, they're amazing. They're adaptogenic herbs. They help your body to create its own source of energy, so you don't need to keep taking supplements the rest of your life. When you start working with adaptogenic herbs, it helps your body to create the energy that it needs to sustain itself. It's giving your body a helping hand. And this is wonderful for fertility because fertility requires a lot of energy. So if you don't have enough energy, then you want to be having things that boost your energy reserve, like adaptogenic herbs. But they need to be consumed with potassium. Potassium you can get from bananas, and potassium you can also get from tahini. I love it. You can have it as a salad dressing. You can water it down with lemon juice, a bit of oil, salt, or you can just have it as a big dollop on my plate. I often do that, and I just add it on my fork to the vegetables that I'm consuming. And it's really, really good for you. And when you're consuming fat on that level, which is the good healthy fats, it fills you up. Now, one of the things that's really important with fertility is protein. You hear it a lot. Increase your protein. Now, there's different forms of protein, and it's about you getting the right protein source for you. I know that there are a lot of vegans in this group. And so looking at, I feel, stepping away from the rice protein so much and going more for hemp protein. I'm not a fan of whey protein. And again, we can talk about this in more detail later. I am aware of the time. I don't want to be going on for an hour. This would be a whole full-on webinar if I was to go into the whole nutrition side of it. But speaking of webinars, I'm going to be doing some video support sessions for you to download and some ebooks of mine that you can read that can help you go through these things with a bit more detail instead of you madly taking notes or just watching and hearing a whole bunch of facts being fired at you like a machine gun as I go through everything. So yeah, having healthy fats is important, which is why avocados are really good, filling you up, etc., as well as combining this with the protein, as I'll just be getting to mention. So hemp is a good source of protein. Lentils are as well, but lentils can be very gas forming, and it depends on your digestive health. So it's interesting when you talk about what's the best fertility diet. It really depends on who I'm talking to. Do you have good gut health? If you don't have good gut health, we need to start there so you can start absorbing these things. And what is it that you're doing in your life that means you don't have the good gut health? Have you just had like a lot of breads, for example, and glutinous food, which has created leaky gut? Because those kinds of processed foods prevent the body from absorbing nutrients, and it's consumed like glue. As soon as you start masticating it in the mouth and swallow it, it turns into the same substance as glue, which means it's difficult for your body to absorb the nutrients that's coming through. So if you've had a lot of processed foods up until your recent fertility journey, or up until you've been told otherwise, that can make a huge negative impact on your fertility. So a lot of women with unexplained fertility issues, or who are miscarrying, it could also be diet related. So looking at clearing these processed foods out of your diet and going for whole foods is going to make a big difference. Again, stay away from non-organic. It's got to be organic, because otherwise you'll be turning your fertility off. So reducing your carbs, reducing rice in general. Rice is not a fertility food. You're better off going for high protein things like quinoa. Quinoa is the mother seed. It's a seed, not a grain. And so it's full of your omegas. And again, these are the good, healthy fats. Other protein, if you want to get animal sources, then if we're talking about fish, the smaller the fish, the better. So sardines and anything wild is better than farmed. 100 times better, 1,000,000 times better. I don't really want you doing any farmed fish. So wild Alaskan salmon would be the biggest fish that you go for. You could have herring. That's also a good fatty fish. But again, not farmed. Then we're going into the meats. Grass-fed organic meats. Lamb is good, better than beef. And stay away from pork. Definitely stay away from pork. It's not a fertility food. And there's also, it depends on how you want to look at it, there's a lot of karmic issues as well around beef and pork, horse, dolphin, whale, etc. But I'm not expecting anybody to be eating that kind of food. So if you can limit it to goat and sheep and fish, then that's going to be a good start. Also shellfish. So shellfish has a lot of zinc. You need to have a lot of zinc in your diet as well, particularly for men. You need to keep that immune system strong. And don't be scared of the word immune system. I've got a lot of clients who have NK cell issues, natural killer cell issues, and this is what I feel is the biggest contributor to miscarriages. If you aren't sure, if you've never been tested for NK cells, I do recommend you do. If you've had more than 3 miscarriages, you can get it for free. I know that's the case in the UK, but usually they don't want to test that because it's quite an expensive test. It's usually done in America. It's like £600, so like $1,000 for the test. But it tests your immune response, your autoimmune response, to see if your body is fighting anything that's foreign. So therefore, when you have a baby, your body might naturally turn against it. It's designed to kill cancer, basically. So it's great if you've got raised NK cells on one level because it's killing out cancer, but not if you're trying to have a baby, because it will lead to a miscarriage, which is not what we want. So you can suppress the immune system. You can do it through cordyceps extract. That's the mushroom extract. But it needs to be prescribed depending on the amounts that you need. Most clinics, 99% of them, would get you to do the steroid route. They get you on the steroids, which does have health implications. So, these are the things that I can help you with. If you've got questions and concerns, say you're going a certain route down IVF and the clinic's saying for you to do one thing and you're unsure and you're hoping that there's a natural solution to it, there often is. Like, for example, the cordyceps mushrooms instead of the steroids. Because remember, with Western medicine, everything has a payoff. Nothing is for nothing. They can help you on one level with whatever you're needing help with, but it's going to come at a price. It could be damaging your liver, which is often the case. Now, if your liver is damaged, or possibly kidneys, But if your liver's damaged, for example, 90%, hello, Lindy, I'll give you a wave. Thanks for joining. If your liver is damaged, it's not going to be good for your fertility because our liver processes 90% of all of our hormones. So if you want your hormones to be in balance and to function well, then you want to be having a healthy liver, which it's one of those catch-22s, particularly if you are going down the route of IVF, because IVF are dosing you up with the hormones that you need. So you're having a lot of synthetic hormones, which the liver's having to deal with on some level. Because you're injecting the hormones, you're not digesting it, so the liver doesn't process as much as you would if you were digesting it, but it's still having to deal with it. So it's really good to have a cleanse. Anyone that's done IVF, for example, and failed, or anyone that's not having any luck with their fertility journey, I recommend start with a cleanse. That's a really good thing to do. So when you're looking at your nutrition, give yourself a break, cleanse your system. Now, it depends on what you've been through. If you've just gone through a series of rounds, for example, or even one round of IVF, I wouldn't recommend a juice cleanse. You want to clear the hormones, get yourself back to a healthy level before going for the next round, if that's your only option. So by doing that, I'd recommend smoothies. Now, I've got a bunch of videos, which I'll put a link to my YouTube channel with just one of the smoothie recipes, but feel free to keep going through there and looking through at the other recipes. That can be really helpful because the extra fiber is going to help draw out the extra toxins from these fake hormones that you've been injecting and then help to purify the body. A really good purifier, the best purifier if you want to detox yourself, is beetroot. If you aren't getting enough organic food, or you haven't had much organic food to date, then get beetroot into you. Bake it, grate it raw. You can mix it with tahini and carrot. That's good. Now, carrot's not a fertility food. So you don't want to be juicing too many carrots. You could juice one carrot, but no more. Only have as much carrot as you would in one sitting. So if you would eat one carrot in a sitting, then juice that or eat that. Don't go over the top. Don't have carrot soup. Carrot is actually a contraceptive. Carrot seeds are a well-known contraceptive, so we don't want to be embracing the carrot when we're trying for a baby. Peas as well, they're not a good fertility food. What else is there that people say is good and not necessarily, oh my goodness, coffee. A lot of clinics say you can have a cup of coffee, it's not going to do any damage, but it does, okay? It lowers your energy levels because it pushes your adrenals too much. And what we want to have for successful fertility and hold your pregnancy through to full term is lots of energy. Now, if you're struggling to get pregnant, there's a reason for that. Usually an energy depletion. That's why my course looks at how you can increase your energy levels through nutrition, but also through energy cultivation techniques, which is why the key yoga in there is so powerful, and why the meditations in there are so powerful, because they help to give you the source of energy that you need, the life force energy to create a new life. So that's a little summary. You know, again, just on that topic of drinks, avoid alcohol. I have had a lot of successful clients that said, look, I still drank a little bit here and there. If it brings you joy on your fertility journey, then it's okay in moderation, but not coffee. Coffee just drains your energy too much. Men can have coffee 20 minutes before sex to give their sperm a boost, but definitely not women. Alcohol, really think twice. If it brings you heaps and heaps of joy and you're only going to have half a glass or one glass twice a month, then that's going to be fine. But if you can stop and still be happy, then I recommend that you do, because at the end of the day, it's all about raising your vibration and feeling happy. So I never put people on a diet, a fertility diet, that makes them unhappy. An unhappy fertility diet, for example, and I do see it often from random nutritionists who really aren't specialized in fertility, is I'll get my clients to eat lots of salads. That's good in the summer, fine in the summer. You want to be having yin food when the weather's yang, when the weather's hot and dry. You have a cool, moist meal to balance it out. You balance the internal and external environment. But if it's, you know, like you're in the UK, for example, or you're still in the winter, or even here in Perth, it's still really cold. So you wouldn't be having too many salads. You want to be having warming food. You want to have hot soups, things that warm you up. So lots of ginger. Ginger's very good for the body, very good for warming. So there's a whole bunch of things that we can be talking about. But if you've got more questions after watching this live, just post your comments below and I'll respond to them, either with another live tomorrow, or I can give you some verbal text for you, some written text for you to read. So anyway, this is just a little tip of the iceberg for some nutritional advice. Hopefully you got a few gems, and any more questions, let me know. But one last thing. Tamiko, you had mentioned that you're on your way to Korea and that you wanted to see if there were any Korean supplements that would be worth getting, or herbal teas. Now, herbal tea, I have a company called Powerfully Pure. It's a very discreet company that sells fertility products and well-being longevity products. So you can have it on your desk at work and no one's going to know that you're actually trying for a baby, because it's called Powerfully Pure. And it's a high-end product. All the products are organic. And I sell a fertility tea, which is a blend of rose, organic rose, as well as organic nettle. This helps to tone the uterus. This helps to prevent miscarriage. This helps to give you lots and lots of vitamin C. This is one of the essential nutrients that you need for your fertility in its natural form, so you'll absorb 100% of it. And you asked if there are other supplements you could get. Now, I don't know the Korean market. I wouldn't touch anything from China. I'm not being racist at all. I totally love the Chinese culture and I embrace everything about China. I love Qigong that's come from China. But the food is not safe, and a lot of it is toxic and a lot of it is fake. So when you're looking at medicinal mushrooms, for example, which is really common and really flooding the market nowadays because they're the adaptogenic herbs I spoke about earlier to build your energy reserves up. When they're made in China, a lot of them are cheaply made and stored, and not only are they not organic, but they're often moldy. And because you're having it in powder form, you don't realize, and the mold is going to create a lot of health implications for you and it really impact your immune system. And we don't want your immune system overly impacted. We want your immune system to be strong and healthy, which is very different to your autoimmune system being strong and healthy, which was the NK cells I spoke about earlier. We don't want the body turning on itself, which is what stress does and a toxic environment does. So keeping your immune system strong and healthy is going to help you to have a strong, healthy baby. So stay away from anything made in China. And when it comes to supplements, there's a lot of cheap supplements on the market. And even doctors are recommending people take very popular brand, which I'm not going to mention, but I'll mention to you privately if you request it, if you private message me, PM me, something beginning with P. Very cheap. If you look at the ingredients, and I ask everyone to look at the ingredients, not the nutritional panel, but the ingredients, and most of them in this particular brand beginning with P, it says quite boldly fillers and binders, and it lists what the fillers and binders are before it lists what the nutrition is inside these supplements. Fillers and binders you don't want. Magnesium stearate you don't want. Anything with soy you don't want. Anything with corn or maize you do not want in your supplements or your food. Sugar is really bad for fertility, and a lot of it's even in these supplements. You're like, what is it doing there? Rice you do not want. It's a highly genetically modified crop. Anything that's genetically modified you want to avoid. And this leads me into the topic of cotton, one of the most genetically modified crops. Don't use cotton tampons. I recommend moon cups, BPA-free moon cups, and BPA is another thing to avoid as well. There's a whole bunch of things, ladies. Honestly, we could be here all day. I have written some amazing ebooks, which I'm going to share with you. Anyway, carry on asking me your questions. I'm here to serve you. That's going to be the end of our nutrition chat for tonight. And it's been beautiful connecting with you. Thank you so much for being here live. Remember, if you've got questions when I am live, you can always ask. And if you've got questions about your fertility supplements, feel free to take a photo, show me the ingredients, and I'll respond to you in the actual group so you'll know if you're on the right supplements or not. So I'm here to serve you. Ask your questions, sending you lots and lots of love and lots of fertility blessings. Ciao for now.